Hey guys, it's Z, back with another episode of Zerm Freemasonry, and today I'm going to be telling you about one of the things that I do that have kind of helped me try to really focus on going from that rough ashlar to that perfect ashlar. So let's knock 3 times and let's get it started. Hey guys, it's Z, back with another episode of Observing Freemasonry, and today I'm going to be talking to you, and this is a slightly odd conversation, about some of the things that I'm doing in my life that help me feel like I'm going from a rough ashlar to that perfect ashlar. And the first thing that I've made as kind of like a subtle, not even a subtle change, a pretty big change in, is the way in which I dress. Now, for any of you that have seen my previous videos, you'll see that what I'm wearing today is kind of slightly odd, especially from the most recent videos. But if you go way back, you'll see that that's pretty standard. Over the past couple of months, I've tried to up my game in the way that I dress. And to be honest with you guys, it's made such a significant change in the way that I am responding to other people, the way that they're responding to me, that I wanted to make this video so you guys could have the same benefit. So normally, at least up until a couple months ago, you would see me in the dad bod uniform. It was a black shirt, pair of brown khaki shorts, and a pair of New Balance, and I rocked it like it's nobody's business. And every morning I would get up, I would grab one shirt, one pair of shorts, a pair of socks, and my New Balance, and I'd get dressed and I'd go to work and do everything. And I would always base it off the idea of efficiency. It's efficient, right? I have everything laid out, everything's good to go, whatever, it'll all match, I don't care. What it really became is that it became lazy, right? All of a sudden, not all of a sudden, over the years, I used to dress in shirt and tie and a jacket every day, and I was doing that when I was teaching in Vermont. And then just over the years, as life kind of just drug on, and we're just trying to go from, 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and then we come home, it's drudgery, no reason to make the effort because nothing's really going to change. And I got to be honest with you, that is a problem for us to think. If we don't think that there's going to be a change made, then why are we Freemasons, right? But what it is getting the effort to kick yourself out of that kind of thought process and make a change in what you're doing. So what I did is I got dressed in a shirt and tie, a suit, I think actually, that one day, and went to work, and just the reaction to everybody was completely different. And I'm not talking about oh, hey, you look nice today. Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. But just the way that I attacked the day, right? The way that I faced those challenges that are just normal everyday challenges. I wasn't reactive to them, to being like, well, it's going to be what's going to be, whatever. I started kind of being more proactive with them and trying to find better ways and means to handle those situations. And instead of falling into kind of a very negative mindset of what was happening, I didn't fall nearly as far, right? Like I knew some bad things are probably going to happen through the day. That's life, and we know it, but it wasn't quite so burdensome anymore. And I really attribute that to the idea that when I get up in the morning and I put on the black shirt and the khaki shorts, I'm lazy, so I don't even want to try to face those problems. Like, it's going to be what it's going to be. There's no point in fighting. However, if I get up in the day and I put on a nice suit and I feel good about things, I feel better about myself, and my reaction to those problems change. It's no longer reactionary, it's proactive to what we're trying to do, which sends a different kind of feeling to the people that you're working with, and how you respond to them and how they respond to you. And it's simply amazing the way that works. I recommend every Mason to try to do that. Over the next week or so, really put some effort into the way that you're dressing and level it up a little bit. If you are constantly wearing shorts, then wear jeans. If you're wearing jeans, then wear khakis. If you're wearing khakis, then wear dress pants. If you're wearing dress pants, then wear a suit. And see if that is going to help you and the way that you approach every day, right? And the way that I mean that is, and how it's helped me become from a rough ashlar to that perfect ashlar, is one of the things that I know that I deal with simply in my life, is the idea that I am or can be very heavily reactionary, and not necessarily in a positive way. Sometimes very, very, very negative. And that's part of me where we talk about like temperance, fortitude, prudence. I really need to make a better effort on that. However, it's very hard to do when it's just reactionary. Being more proactive helps me to take a look at, that temperance, fortitude, and the prudence, and going, okay, don't don't be reactionary. How can we make this happen? What can we think about how, and so I don't feel as bad throughout the day. And that 100% influences how I deal with people. Like that guy that comes in to your office who is going to be a pain or bring you a problem, and you got lazy in the morning and you put on your shirt and then you look up and instantly your thoughts about him are probably not the best. Like, oh, here he comes. I don't want to deal with him anymore, and things that Masons shouldn't be doing. And you're sitting there, but you feel a little bit better about yourself because you put on a shirt and tie, or maybe an Oxford, and you go, all right, he's here. All right, what can we do? What can we make that happen? Instantly, you're starting to chip away at those parts of that rough Ashlar and going to that perfect Ashlar, right? Or any of those reactions and those interactions that we have with people change completely. And when they treat us better, we feel better about ourselves. We treat them better, typically. And then all of a sudden, we have a much better relationship. But that's because we did the work to get up in the morning to dress appropriately. If you're lazy, that rough Ashlar remains a rough Ashlar and never move to the perfect Ashlar. The other thing I'd like to think about, especially when it calls about us from that rough Ashlar to that perfect Ashlar, is us as men, as husbands, right? Now, many of us will have, I am very blessed to have a beautiful wife for whom I am not deserving, and I am very ever thankful that she's in my life. And I have to remember that when it's time to leave and she's still getting ready. All of us have been in that position before. We're trying to be like, hey, we needed to leave 15 minutes ago and you're not even out of the shower yet, type thing. Now, my wife isn't that bad. If you guys have wives that are that bad, I just want you to remember this following piece of information. They are taking their time to make sure that they look good for you, right? Sometimes it's for them and they do feel better about it when they do it for them, but they're also doing it for you. As the wife, they are trying to make sure that they are looking good for their husband because they want you to be proud of them and the way that they look, right? And so think about that for just 1 minute. The way you dress, does that make your wife feel proud of how you look? Or is she like, well, it's just him and that's just the way it is. He's not really putting any effort into it anymore. And think about how that goes back into that rough Ashlar to that perfect Ashlar, right? Is that we think about the idea that says, as a husband, are there things that I, as a Mason and as a husband, can be doing to make my relationship with my wife better? And if it's as simple as putting on a shirt and tie, then put on a freaking shirt and tie. Do it, right? Make her proud, You know that when she comes out of the bathroom and she's looking beautiful, you look at her completely different and you see the smile in her face when that's the case. And she's happy. And when she's happy, you feel better because you, as the husband, are making her happy. And that's what we like to do, right? Give her the opportunity to say, hey, you look really nice today. And see the smile that comes across your face and how instantly it changes on hers too. And she smiles along. Because you guys are both putting effort into each other and making sure that each one of you is proud in the way that you look and things along those lines, you're probably going to find out that your marriage might be a lot better too. Because the rough Ashlar, that very self-centered seeking purpose that we have, is now becoming a perfect Ashlar where we're thinking about our wives and people outside of just us. And watch how you're able to probably approach situations together with more ease than probably you have before, right? And it could be something as simple as just like her saying something simple as, hey, can you bring me a bottle of water? And you're like, why did I just came from the kitchen. Why didn't you tell me when I was there? And I know we've all done that one before, right? And then you're just like, all right, yeah, cool, I got it. You feel different. You handle the situation differently. You've tried to, it's amazing, really. So guys, please, I'm not sure if it's the chicken or the egg. Do you feel better because you're dressing better? Do you dress better because you're feeling better? It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're breaking off the corners of those rough stones and helping us to become perfect Ashlars, and that we can see the big difference. And one easy way to do that is simply by just changing the way we dress. Now, For those of you that don't have a lot of money, or maybe you don't even know where to begin, or what color palettes you should be using, or whatever nonsense that they always talk about in the magazines that we don't read, let me highly recommend to you, you find your local Goodwill or such thrift store, things along those lines, and you go there. Just so you know, I found this pair of pants. They're about $60 to $65 in a department store. I bought them for about $3. And as you can take a look at what I'm doing right now, I'm sitting with my sewing machine and I am taking up the hem in them so that they hang correctly because as you can see from the shirt, which I know I'm talking about dressing better, and here I am in a black shirt, the Marine Corps taught me that, you know, there should be one break across the front, the back should hit at the welt of the shoe, and I'm very particular about things like that. But I also found a jacket and I found a suit at Goodwill for, I want to say like $20. And if you don't know how that should fit on you, then what you do is you take it over to the dry cleaners, who are probably alteration specialists also, and you say, make this look good on me, please. And then you just let them do what they do. And normally they can dry clean it and do the alterations. You're paying like $30, maybe $35 for that, depending on what needs to be done. You buy the suit for $20, $25, you put $30 into it to have it professionally cleaned and altered. You spent $50. That's probably a $300 to $400 suit. I know, I just bought one. And so you just saved yourself a mess load of money. And when you put that on, you're going to feel better about yourself. Your wife's going to look at you differently. She's going to be super proud and super happy that you're making that effort. And she's just going to love every moment of it. And you will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it's so much easier to chip off the corners of those rough stones and make us perfect Ashlars when we feel good about what we're doing and the way that we look. So until next time, guys, stay fervent.